Hey everybody, welcome back. Do a quick video on making some access hatches in my scenery, especially up here at the upper end of the helix where it's really hard to get to the trains from inside. This train you're looking at, he actually string lined inside the helix, and I ended up having to rescue it. Unfortunately, I couldn't just rescue it with regular locomotives. I had to go in and rescue it by cutting out some sections and rescuing them that way. Something I've been meaning to do for a while, just this kind of forced my hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how I do my little access hatches. I don't know if you guys can see that one. Probably not, right? Blends right in. I've got another one over here. Really can't even tell they're there if you do them right. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to make those access hatches. This guy's actually sticking up a little bit. Some brush and stuff around there, you won't even see it. Stick around and we'll make some hatches. All right, so this is where I ended up making the two hatches where I can access. I've already gone ahead and cut these out, cleaned up inside for the most part, and rescued the train, obviously. So I'll try to do this while I'm holding the camera. So first thing I did was I cut them out. Actually, first thing I did was I removed anything that might get in the way or vibrate. I took off the bridges. Still couldn't get in there to get the train, as it was like string lined right here. 2 or 3 of the cars had tipped over. Not sure what caused it yet, but hopefully we'll find out soon. So anyway, first thing I did was I cut these. I just used an X-Acto actually a box cutter, and just I put a pin here. I put 4 pins. The corners kind of marked it where I wanted it, and then I just took the box cutter and just went, from one pin to the next, and then the next to the next, and so on. And then it's pretty simple to remove it, and that's going through the cardboard lattice and everything. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I do next. All right, so the next part I did was the messy part. Pretty much took out these panels, and once I got them cleaned up, and I pretty much cleaned up the edges on both the lid and the remaining scenery itself. Get all the loose stuff off, and then make sure you clean up underneath and protect your track. All I did was take plaster cloth and pretty much take it along the lip, fold it under, and repeat all the way around. I did it once, maybe twice, I think, all the way around. And then what I did was I made these little, just took a piece, folded it in half again, and ran it across at an angle. Pretty much makes a lip for the lid to sit on. You could do that. You could do something like maybe a piece of cardboard glued in, but this is easy since you're already doing it, and the plaster's already wet. It'll stick really good. And then again, just do the same with the lid. You can see the front and the back. Really, it's just reinforced now on the back a little bit more. And then all you're doing is taking the existing cut and pretty much just protecting it with plaster cloth. Once it hardens, it'll be nice and hard, and you'll be able to have a good solid lid on the on your access panel. Because you do want something sturdy. You don't want something that's going to break every time you pull it out, or if somebody accidentally leans on it. Preferably you don't want that, but just in case. One thing you do need to do with these panels, though, because you're putting plaster on both the both sides of both the lid and the access port itself, it's gonna thicken your the width and length of the lid. So what I did before I do them, I cut about maybe just a little bit off, like 1/8 of an inch, really. Don't worry about it if you cut a little bit too much, because you can always shape it back up with the plaster. I did it on this one a little bit, in a couple spots. And then what I do, real quick, going back, I take it off this side and I take it off that side. I take about 1/8 of an inch off each. And then once I get it all, the plaster in place, I'll do again the the mountain first, or whatever, the hillside first, then I'll do the lid last, and then as the lid's kind of setting up, you know, I'll put it in there and kind of I'll shape it a little bit more to how I want it. Don't worry about it if it's got a few little gaps or it's not quite perfect. You're going to hide that eventually anyway with once you go back and re-scenery. Once you put new scenery on it, like mountain, ground cover, rocks, things like that. So really easy to do, and I'll show you guys hopefully the finished product here coming up. All right, so after letting the plaster dry and making sure your lids are good to go, what I do is I come back in with a coat of Sculptamold. And Sculptamold kind of gives it that kind of like that terrain look. This is still tacky right now. I'm just kind of shaping it a little just with my fingers. You can do it with a brush, you can do it with a knife, piece of, you know, old piece of wood. But what I do is I plug a couple pins in here so it's easy to pull out. And here, really, you just want to cover all the plaster webbing, so it doesn't. That's not really showing. This isn't too critical because you can come in and detail this with, you know, brush and things like that. But I'm just kind of, well, it's still a little bit tacky. Just kind of looking for some high spots and knocking them down a little, so they look a little bit more like rocks instead of icicles going up. And like I said, this is still kind of tacky right now. And when it's almost dry, what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll pretty much separate the lid from the terrain, and then I'll kind of let them both dry on their own separately, so that way they'll still keep their shape, but they won't be stuck together. All right, so you're looking at the top of this hatch and the top of this one, and you can kind of see where I've started already blending in the paint. Gave it a coat of the base brown, and then we're just taking other paints and mixing it a little bit here, a little bit there, spread it out. Don't try to stay in one spot, that way you kind of getting different looks, different colors everywhere. Still got some more painting to do, a little bit more, and then what we'll do is we'll cover it with ground cover and put some, obviously some hedges and things like that that will kind of hide the gaps. All right, taking another look, I've added more paint, blended it in a lot more. You can kind of see now it's definitely kind of starting to look like a mountain again, or a hilltop again. And just keep going until you get it right, really. I didn't like this area anyway. It was kind of too dark, I thought, so I've kind of lightened up a lot of the other surrounding areas to kind of blend in with it. I still have more work to do, but you can kind of get the idea. It's definitely coming along. There's a little bit of a gap that I'm not, I'm going to try to hide once I get the scenery in there, like some foliage and stuff like that. So I'll just have to be a little heavier in those areas. But yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Kind of give you guys a other view. And still, like I said, you'll probably be able to see some of the gap maybe if you know it's there, but once you get scenery and stuff around it, you're really not going to be able to tell it's there. So scenery to come. All right, done a little bit of scenery, started adding some brush and some texture to it. You can still see a little bit of the gap, but from a distance you won't notice it. It just kind of looks like rock crevices. I'm still gonna go back and blend some more of that in, but you know, just kind of placing brush here and there. Try not to just do it around the seam itself. I try to spread it out so it looks like it's going across different angles and things like that. And then I just go ahead and come back and shake on different you know, mixes. I use these old waxworm cans. We get them at PetSmart, I think. We used to feed our turtles with them when they were little, and they make great shakers. You just put whatever material in there, and you can wet the scenery down with like scenic cement or white diluted white glue, and you know, just use these to shake it on. It comes out pretty much perfect out of these little holes they have in here, breather holes, I guess, for the worms. But I have a bunch of these, obviously, and then different colors. And then I also have a little shop, not a little shop vac, but a little layout vac, tiny, and it's got a little catch canister with a filter, and I pretty much, after I go and do scenery, I vacuum up the excess, and then I dump it into these, and you get some different variations. Some of these are actually I've pre-mixed, but this is just a mix. It's like whatever I vacuumed up, and so just gives you some different shades of colors and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's it for now. I'm going to end this series. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea on, you know, if you ever have and I've got to do the inside. I've got to get in the helix and do the inside. I still really haven't done that inside, but kind of gives you an idea of what I'm going for. You know, had a train that needed to be rescued, and I didn't think ahead and put access panels in the scenery as I went, so I had to make them after. But hey, that's how we learn, right? I appreciate everyone watching the video, and let me know if you got feedback, comments, etc. Take care.